Okay, new fuckery on the horizon. Let me explain. We've got the federal minister of housing, Gregor Robertson, former mayor of Vancouver. So Gregor is an expert on how to blow up house prices to the moon, okay, because he certainly succeeded doing that. He's also rich AF, this guy, and he's got all the rich guy tropes, like when a friend of mine was doing an interview with him, David Hurley was doing an interview and saying, hey, will there ever be a day when young Canadians can buy a house that has a garden where there's some grass? And Gregor says, yeah, the balcony on my penthouse apartment has some grass, some garden there, yeah. Like, it was the most classic let them eat cake moment that I've ever heard in my life from this tall doofus, okay? Look, let's be clear. The plan now is, and this is coming, and it might be a slightly different version. I'm not saying I'm 100% right, but I'm listening, I'm reading, I'm studying this, and it's getting clear. They're saying it's only weeks away, so maybe that's the budget, weeks away. A new proposal to reduce development fees in big cities, in cities all across Canada, okay? But we got to remember, this is the most important thing to understand. Some cities, some towns have very, very low development fees, and some cities have batshit crazy high development fees. So let's break it down. We got the idea that development fee is that the developer will pay for the added cost of building new housing. So all the added costs. Maybe you need a park. Maybe you need a library. Maybe you need a rink. Maybe you need a ball diamond. Maybe they were already giving the roads. The developer was gifting the city the roads. They were paying for the roads altogether. But okay, maybe there's some other infrastructure, whatever, parks, you name it. The developer must pay all that stuff up front, so that growth will pay for growth. This was the bullshit line, okay? Growth will pay for growth. Okay. So then, of course, you discover that in places like the city of Toronto, since the year 2000, development fees, this growth pays for growth stuff, has gone up 1,000%. Yeah, 1,000%. Some years they'll just raise it 50%, but if you go right back to the beginning, if I take you back to the 80s, development fees were $3,500, a lot for a full-size lot. City of Toronto, $3,500. So today that's like $250,000, okay, or more, 300 grand. So, yeah, 1,000%, okay. So the federal government's coming proposal, as I'm seeing it, as I'm looking at it, at the pieces, the communication pieces on it, will be that the federal government will go to the cities and say, you reduce your development fees by 50%, and we'll give you a grant of the 50% to replace the reduced development fees, so you can encourage housing. Well, let me tell you just how completely, totally nuts that is. Because if you're someplace like Winnipeg or Brandon, Manitoba, and your development fees are super duper low, we're going to have the federal taxation, which takes money from every Canadian, everyone. And we're going to hand 50% development charge subsidy to the city of Toronto and the city of Vancouver. If you were a city in the prairies or Quebec or Atlantic Canada or Alberta, and you found out that, yeah, we're gonna part of the taxes that all you pay is going to subsidize development fees, money paid to the city of Vancouver, the city of Toronto, what would you think? You'd think that's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy as fuck. Okay. But that's what they're proposing. Okay. They'll have some other story wrapped around it or something, but what they will never ask, what no liberal government will ever ask is that, hey, you cities, you are pissing money down both legs and you have no spending controls and you're out of control and you need to drop these development fees by 80, 90%. And you need to control your spending. But by the way, they've overcharged so much they don't even have any place to spend the money anymore. Sure, they could put it into general revenues, but that's in Ontario, that's against the law. So they have to spend it on, new things associated with new parks, new libraries, new this, new that, new something or other, new infrastructure. Okay. So they apparently there's $3 billion sitting in a checking account somewhere in Toronto because they've so greedily charged so much on their 1,000% increase that they can't even spend the money fast enough. So, but look, let's just make this really, really clear. Okay. If you support cities in their ridiculous overspending, and you say, instead of saying, because this was Poilievre's proposal was, hey, if you don't drop these development fees by 90%, I'm going to shut you down. I'm even going to go to the province and tell them I'm going to shut you down. I'm going to stop sending you some certain types of transfer payments and grants. I'm going to shut it all down until you knock down these crazy ass development fees because it's stupid. It's stupid. And it directly harms young Canadians who want to buy a new construction home. Because that's what it is. That's what it really does, okay? It harms the buyer, okay? Now, we've pretty much destroyed the whole market for dog crate condos. That's like dead as a doorknob. So if we could just get development fees down on real places like townhomes, semis, single family, get those development fees way, way down on where people actually want to live, okay, in a decent home, not a 495 square foot dog crate, then yes, we would encourage that kind of development because some of those costs are like on a single family home, not even a huge one. It's like 300 grand. Yeah. It's 300 grand in taxes, levies, GST. I mean, it's development fees. It's all that stuff on a single family home. So you want to try to bring down the prices of just decent townhouses to raise families in. This is the way to go. Get rid of those crazy development fees, but do not say reduce 50%, which is not enough. It needs to be 90%. They already reduced 80% in Vaughan and Mississauga, so that's already happened. They realized they were screwed. And everybody who says, oh, no, the builders will just steal the money. You're wrong. The builders are broke. There's no building being made at all. There's nothing, no development. There's no new starts. There's no new nothing because they can't afford it. The numbers don't pencil. They've given up. So they're not going to steal money on something when they have nothing to build. They can't. It's ridiculous. So yeah, federal government, Gregor Robertson, Prime Minister Carney, do not reward huge cities for insane development fees by subsidizing them 50%, coming out of the pockets of all Canadian taxpayers who live in provinces where it's not crazy. The cities haven't become bloated spending monsters. So please, Gregor Robertson and Prime Minister Carney, don't do this stupid plan of subsidizing development fees. Please.